He damn,
Ooh.
damn near disappear. What's up?
It's pretty cool.
Yep. Welcome. We're 4 days into football. I'm Adam. That's Cyrus, and then there's Urban Legend Mike down there. And then there's Miles in from the dark. How y'all doing
Looks like
this
the old
evening?
Typo Negative video, like the Bloody Kisses album.
Perfect. So we're going to talk about Week 4 action. All kind of shit happened. We're going to get right off to it with Urban Myers. Yeah. So Jacksonville had a hell of a game Thursday night, which I don't think any of us really saw coming against Cincinnati. So going into the halftime, they led 14-0. They were looking like a really good, solid team. Then Cincinnati came out and started doing well. Actually, it really started with right before going into halftime when Jacksonville was fourth and goal and Cincinnati stopped them on the goal line. They ran one more play after that, and that they went into the half. After that, all the momentum shifted, which sucked. And for some reason, they just stopped running Robinson. But when they did run Robinson, he was getting some pretty good yards. I mean, that first half was really like watching a college team play. I mean, that's really what it was, like watching Navy play with nothing but fucking options all over the place. It was just the option run. That's it. That's all they did in the whole first half. But it worked. But as soon as Cincinnati figured it out, they figured it out. Their defense took over. Their offense did a great job, even though Mixon got put out. But they still held it on and ended up winning on the final play of the final game. The final play of the game was Cincinnati kicking the field goal, and that was the first time they took the lead. Was right then. My heart was broken. It
Mine
was.
too. I had
It,
Cincinnati's defense, which Miles noted. Makes fun of me. Appreciate that.
yeah.
I earned it.
Yep.
Yeah, man, you could have done better, I think, there, Mike. It's okay though.
Yeah.
We all have our moments of
Well, I know,
unthoughtfulness.
and Jacksonville had a moment. They had like a "Hey, we have an offense" kind of moment, and
Yeah.
put up
Well,
just enough points
no.
to really mess me up. I thought I
Listen,
could kind of sneak out 5 or 6 because my other defense was Carolina, and they were playing Dallas, and I think they would have got me negative or something. I kind of kept them off to the side, but yeah, here nor there. It was kind of a so close but so far away moment. I will
Yeah.
tell you, man, that play at the end of the first half is what killed them for the rest of the game. That
It
just
did.
swung all the momentum.
I
It did.
can't believe how good they looked. I mean, it was a road Thursday game, and traditionally going on the road in a short week, especially if you're the on paper inferior team, and Jacksonville has a history for this on Thursdays, you're going to have a bad time. They looked competent throughout the entire first half. The running game was on spot on, and the defense looked good throughout the first half for Jacksonville.
I agree.
And that last drive was a backbreaker. I kind of think they should have went conservative instead of running one more play. They should have tried bringing the field goal unit on. 3 possessions is 3 possessions. But
Yep.
it.
I mean, hindsight's 2020.
Urban Meyer should have been watching film, and instead he was.
Who knows what he was doing before the game? We only know what the fuck he was doing
That's what I
after the
mean.
game.
He should have been watching film and learning about learning from his NFL mistakes there, and he was not.
No, he was. From what I understand, it's all I hear on the radio here in Nashville, Tennessee, is that he had his finger in someone's butt on video or some shit.
It's all over Reddit. Reddit won't stop talking about it either.
2 knuckles deep, man. It's not where
What
you
are you
want to
gonna
be.
do?
Not after a loss.
Dude, it's just, dude, he even got a letter from Shaka Khan, whatever the fuck his name is, that owns the Jaguars. And it's just like,
I'm hearing the song.
it's just, what's that?
I'm hearing the song, the Shaka Khan song. Go ahead.
Oh, it's all good. But dude, so Khan put out a statement today. I read it earlier. And it was basically saying that, hey, we're not going to stand for this. That he needs to show class or some shit like that. My thing is, it's Urban Meyer. Is nothing's going to change, and if nothing, all right, if something changes, I'm talking in circles here.
I'll
I
talk.
just go ahead.
This business with Urban Meyer is nothing. It's going to fly over, and next week everyone's going to forget about it. Robert Kraft gets hand jobs, and he's a 7-time ring owner over the past 20 years. No one cares. They forget about these things. The bottom line is Jacksonville and Cincinnati, neither team has a defense. Cincinnati has a better quarterback than Jacksonville, and that's why they won the game. They have a better offense. That's it. They had the better offense of that game because Joe Burrow is a better quarterback, and they have better receivers than Jacksonville does. Neither team has defense. That's my opinion.
Man, I think at halftime they found something that they wanted to exploit about Jacksonville's defense that they didn't take advantage of the first 30 minutes. And when they came out, they were moving the ball quick. They were tempo, right down the field. Boom, quick touchdown. I mean, it was within like a couple of minutes. Got the ball back, did the exact same thing again. And I noticed that Burrow was starting to go a lot more over the top, and they were doing a lot more of these like 15-yard in routes. You know, they were doing something to where they had the cornerbacks on the ropes. Either the cornerbacks were getting beat on the long routes, or they were trying to compensate for that, and they were setting back deep. They were like 15 yards off the ball in some cases. And that's when Chase would go down, run a quick in route. The ball would be on his hips as soon as he cut. And he was great, man. I had him in fantasy in one league, and I thought he was going to score a bunch of points. He never got in the end zone, but mostly because they got down close enough to, hand it off to Mixon or whoever else it was. But, yeah, they definitely found something similar to how Jacksonville was in the first half, where the option game came out, and they were running all over. They were running roughshod over Cincinnati. And that may be something they can work on in weeks to come. The Urban Meyer thing, I think, is a much bigger deal. The reason why I think it's a much bigger deal is because – well, number one, how seriously the team is taking it whenever the owner puts out a statement like this. And he used very calculated language in this statement of he has to earn back the trust of the team and the respect. I mean, it's very heavy-handed in some of the words that he used from the owner. Owners that usually stay silent in these type of things. And, as far as we did, going out in bars after the game, look, man, I used to bartend in Nashville right after Titans games. I'd see Samuel E. Hill. I'd see half the receivers come in. I'd see them get absolutely shit-faced wasted. I mean, I could continue to name names. These guys know other people saw them, so they don't care. I know them very well. They would come in there and get wasted right after the game. I saw one time they flew back after an away game, and the away game ended at like 3 p.m. Central. And by 7, 8 o'clock, they were in the bar, already 3 shots deep. I mean, players do this shit all the time. It is so much different when a coach does it, especially when he didn't take the team playing back. He basically said, all right, you guys go ahead. I'm going to hang back. Like, no coach ever does that. Like, that's breaking years and years and years of, hey, this is a line you can't cross type of stuff. And it speaks, I think, to a lot of the stuff that we were talking about with Urban Meyer in the beginning of him taking this job, about if he's going to continue to stay interested, if the losses pile up, how the season's going to go, if he has a lot of adversity, if it doesn't start breaking his way right away. I think he's kind of at that point. I don't think he finishes the season.
See, that's I don't think he will either. So, all right, so here's the statement that Colin put out. I'm going to just read it real quick.
Let me put a quick asterisk on my thoughts. If he doesn't win, then I agree with everything he says. But if he wins, then nothing will matter.
That's the thing. He won't win.
Yes. But Mike's saying he's not going to win. And but if he doesn't win, then yes. But if he wins, then none of this shit will matter.
He got outcoached by Zach Taylor.
So here's Colin's statement. I have addressed this matter with Urban. Specifics of our conversation will be held in confidence. What I will say is his conduct last weekend was inexcusable. I appreciate Urban's remorse, which I believe is sincere. Bullshit. I'll add that. Now he must regain our trust and respect. That will require a personal commitment from Urban to everyone who supports, represents, or plays for our team. I am confident he will deliver. Well, that makes one person that's confident, because I don't think that motherfucker is capable of delivering all that shit.
And this was Shaheed and not Tony who made the statement.
No, yeah, it's
supposed to be Tony Khan who's in charge of the.
It's not. That's not. Yeah, no. This is
Tony Khan's in wherever AEW Dynamite is right now. He's not even worried about the Jags. That's the thing. The guy who's supposed to be running football operations is running a pro wrestling company and doesn't care. That's why the Jags keep hiring morons.
Well, and this is the same thing as how Tampa Bay has operated for years and years before recently, is that they have, is it Manchester United that the Glazers own? It's one of the big teams over there.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yes. Yeah. I don't know if it's Manchester. I don't know if it's in. Yeah, but yes, I know.
Yeah, I don't follow soccer close enough, but I know it's like one of the top 3 or 4 teams over there, and they're so invested in that football secondary, and they were okay with just, whatever. They'd pop in every once in a while, fire a coach, and move back on, but they were absentee most of the time. And this is the same type of stuff that you get because they're doing the exact same thing that they have been doing. But I mean, it keeps franchises down. That's one of the reasons why they've kind of been where they are.
I mean, the Jags also own the Cons also own Fulham FC of the Premier League, and they're terrible too. The Cons are just not meant for this sports ownership thing.
I mean, obviously they got some oil money somewhere, so I guess they got it to burn.
Oh, all these teams make money if they're good or not.
Yeah.
I'm glad Tony knows how to run a wrestling company. Good for him.
Yes.
Yeah.
What a disaster.
Yes, because they actually fill their stadiums on Sundays. I mean, you look at other sports and it's bad.
You're right. I mean, look how empty. If you go to any
Baseball.
kind of
Christ.
or basketball, dude. Basketball during the regular season. During the regular season, dude, basketball's empty as shit.
I hate regular season basketball. Don't get me
I know
wrong.
you do.
But I
know.
feel like in a 16,000 person stadium, it's at least 3/4 full on a regular season game. Whereas a baseball
the
stadium
regular
is
season
like
games-
1/5.
Yeah, I didn't realize this till about 2 years ago. My brother had season tickets to the Hawks down here. It was kind of a thing he had with a client, and he was reselling the tickets he wasn't using. What he didn't know is that they were running his card for astronomical amounts of money whenever the large marquee teams would come in town. Example, for the same seats that cost him like $50, they'd be like $500 for when the Lakers came to town.
Yes.
And those games would sell out. But like if it's them and the Bucks or them and the I don't know who's a bad team now, the Clippers.
Yeah, that'd be.
No,
Let's just say
Well,
Memphis
not
is
bad
coming to
team.
town.
Um,
Let's just say the Grizzlies are
that
coming to
team?
town.
Yeah,
Let's see. I don't know. So many teams are good. That's all I pay attention to is good teams.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Well,
Atlanta.
the NBA is still
No,
weighted.
Atlanta's good.
Portland.
No, Portland's good.
Okay, a team without a major draw.
Minnesota.
They can be
Minnesota.
good and
New
not have a
Orleans.
draw.
New Orleans.
New Orleans.
Minnesota's been bad since
Minnesota.
Laker was there.
There you go.
But yeah, those teams coming to town, you have the StubHub $15 specials on them. But
Yep.
yeah, I agree with you. It's for the most part. I mean, a decent team will command about 2/3 of the stadium. They're still making money at that. They don't have to sell it out.
No. And it sucks though because the whole rest. I'm sorry to go off on NBA, but that makes me sick because they just need to cut the games in half if they have to rest. Okay, cut it down from 80 something to 40 something. Period. I'm done.
I completely agree. I would watch basketball if they only played like what was it? The shortened season here was it the COVID season? They had like 50 games or something.
Yeah, I think it was
yes.
less than that. They
It was
only
less than that.
they only played for like 3 months, didn't they?
That was
In the bubble.
perfect.
Yep.
That's
Yep.
perfect.
And it made
It was
sense
exciting.
because that's all they cared about in the bubble. It was
Yep.
exciting because of that too. It's a
Yep.
unique circumstance.
You're not wrong.
I'd probably watch baseball if they didn't have 2,000 games.
Dude, no, not me, dude. Not me. Nope.
The players get bored. Jesus Christ.
I know,
It
dude.
reminds
Exactly.
me-
I mean, they
Hockey
play
had
2 games a
82 somehow.
day. They play 2 games a day. How the fuck? No.
What?
No.
Hockey's one of the most violent sports in the world, and somehow they play
And they
82
not
of those
only-
damn things.
Not
Yeah.
only do they play 2 games a game, but if one of these things happens in either one of those games that's historic, it doesn't count because it's not a full game.
Yeah.
If one of them throws a no-hitter, it doesn't count because it's not a full game. Isn't that wild?
It
Yeah,
is.
that's
The
not
sport that's
accurate.
predicated on stats.
Yes. Yes.
That's yeah. It's ridiculous. Well, all right. So, anyways, that's enough about Urban Meyer.
And baseball.
Yeah.
Just
Two
But,
topics
put
that
that
are
aside.
about as interesting as each other.
Yep. So let's talk about the Tampa Bay at New England. It was. I didn't
It's a
get to
good
really
game.
watch any of this game. I'm pretty sure I fell asleep during it. So, but it looks to me like Tom Brady drove them down. From what I understand, he drove them down for the game-winning drive at the end of the game, just like he had done hundreds of times for Bill Belichick. Got him in field goal range, and they kicked the field goal and won
That's great.
19-17.
There
You
is
know what?
the
He
added
didn't have a touchdown that night.
No, I'll go first. I texted you all that night before in the first half, and I said, Tom Brady's off. Freaking Pats are going to win. And I thought I was right until the fucking last minute. And then
Yep.
sure enough, Tom Brady does what he does. But he was off nonetheless. He was
Obviously.
not having a good night. And,
Obviously, I mean,
it showed that they are vulnerable. And, they've already lost once this year. So,
Oh yeah, the Patriots should have. I mean, the Patriots should have won that game. They actually had a good control of that game for more than what I thought they should have had it against the team based on their defensive front and all the weapons on offense. Really thought that, and the whole betting public, everybody on the pregame shows, nobody picked the Patriots except for like maybe one smartass just trying to be a contrarian. but the Patriots were in the game the whole way. That
Yes, they
last kick, that 56-yard kick, I really thought that they were going to try to get one more play in before they kicked that, and Folk from 55 would have made it. It hit off the upright. It was that close. They would have won that game.
It was almost Mac Jones who led a game-winning drive against Tom Brady, which would have been way more fun from a narrative standpoint, to be honest.
Oh,
Mac
definitely.
Jones played really good. He
He
had
did.
like 6 incompletions or something stupid. Their game plan with
He's
him was
got
great.
2 interceptions on the year, I think. He's doing fine for a fucking rookie.
Oh yeah, compared to the rest, absolutely.
Yes.
Well, yeah. I
He's
mean,
another
I don't know,
stable
dude, because, well, I'll get into that in a minute, but there's another rookie that played decent over the weekend.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. A quarterback.
Oh, yeah, there was. We'll
David
talk about
Mills?
that later.
No, not
not
David
Mills.
Mills. That
Or-
son of a bitch, dude. He's got a little bit over 300 yards for the year so far. I know he's only played
Well,
3 games.
yeah,
What?
that's
Cut him
just
some
his neck.
slack, man. He's in Houston, for crying out loud. I mean,
Dude's
could you
making-
imagine jumping into that as a rookie?
No.
He's
No.
making Nathan Peterman look like a Hall of Famer, though. It's really bad.
They're not
I mean,
setting
have
up
you
to have to
seen
win.
have you seen any of it, Miles? Like seriously, have you watched some of what he's doing?
All I get is red zone for them, man. So all I see
Well,
is
No, you're not
highlights.
gonna see
you're not
that.
seeing-
Yeah, you're not
highlights.
you're not going to see him then.
No.
It's bad. It's
Yeah.
fucking bad, dude. It's
You
like
can turn it around. Look at Daniel Jones. He's an
Yeah.
inspiration to us all.
yeah, nah, dude. He's
Had
in
bright
Houston.
spots.
There's nah. What? No.
Davis
Just no.
Mills. It's funny though. We say this. The Titans secondary is going to make this dude a 300-yard passer. He's going to look like Brady against Tennessee. It's all good.
No, they're going
Dude,
to pull it
shut your
together.
mouth.
They're going to
Shut your
tighten up. They're hot and cold, and they got cold, and now they're going to get hot. It's fine. Titans.
There,
It's
yeah.
Titans football. If you can't handle the volatility,
Remember when they
can't
almost
handle
lost
heat,
to that
get out of
Browns
the kitchen.
team that went 0-16?
Listen,
Yeah.
that's
That
the
was
way
fun.
it goes, though, isn't it? Mike, didn't
It
you
is.
point that out?
Ain't-
I mean, you lose to the losers.
Yeah, they play down more than any franchise I can think of. And if it's a team that's not won a game, then by God, it's their turn every time.
Yep.
It's at past like the 3rd week of the season. If we face a winless team, it is almost a guarantee. I wonder what the record is against winless teams after the 3rd week of the season. This is like some Pro Football Focus, type stat. I want to look that up one day and see what it is. It's got to be a losing record, and that's really something.
Listen,
Yeah.
And I
everybody
want to
there.
blame coaching, but I mean,
All
this is
Well,
you go first, Miles.
no, I was just going to say real quick is that all Titans fans need to take a breath of air and relax and realize what division they're in, and worry not.
No, they're going to win the division. They're going to win the division. I
Walking
don't.
away.
Yeah,
All right.
I don't. Well, you know
Cyrus.
what?
Davis, fight
What?
it out for whoever's next. I said my piece.
The thing is with the Titans, and this has been an issue since like the Fisher era. Yeah, they play down the competition, and then, but how do you lose to this Jets team? Like, I understand playing down the competition, and they almost lost to that Cleveland team, but a few years ago. But they were averaging 6 points a game, and I know the
They-
Titans are missing their top 2 receivers, but good grief.
They lost because of offense, of stupid mistakes by offense throughout the entire game, not just the delay of game to end the game, basically, which infuriated me beyond belief, dude. I was so mad when that happened. There's no excuse for that. That's on Tannehill. Dude. And he was just lollygagging up there like nothing was going on. I don't understand. I really don't understand.
It's
when you
not
see
just
a
on
t-
him.
No,
I mean, look, man, I
Go
put a
ahead,
lot
Mike.
more blame on coordinators. Coordinators have a lot more to do with the delays of game. Now, certain quarterbacks can overcome it, but if you have a guy that can't get his offense on the same page, he's not expecting to, he doesn't have the next play call ready to go, or he doesn't have the quarterback given enough authority to put in another play really quick and get him up to the line in these critical moments, then a lot of this falls on the coordinator. Now, Tannehill
Not
deserves
if you're
to
a
blame.
not if you're a great quarterback. If you're a great quarterback, you take over right there in that minute.
well, Tannehill's not a great quarterback. Let's get that out of the way real quick.
I think
He
great's
could
a
be.
strong word.
He's
could
a
be.
very good quarterback. Great is. I love Ryan Tannehill. He's been fun to watch, but great
You've
is a
got to
very
you've
strong
got
word.
to, dude, in a situation like that, that's what makes a quarterback great.
Yes,
Is
but he's
making
not.
that call to be like, all right, fuck the offense, fuck the coordinator. We know plays. We're
But,
gonna call.
okay.
I'm calling this play.
Mhm.
He's the same quarterback they had last year and the year before when they were really good. What's the difference between those two teams? And this year, they have who's the offensive coordinator? One of you
Yeah.
guys name him.
Who knows?
Todd
It's a-
Downing.
Nobody knows.
Todd
The
Downing.
defensive Todd Downing. Okay, I think I
just
did
said
the
that.
same thing last week.
Yes, he did. Adam gets the credit though.
Right. And the defensive coordinator, same thing. The coaching is a major issue this year. And Adam, you said the offense was a problem. The offensive line turnstiles, it's bad. They
Yeah,
let
it is.
this the first game, an NFL team, the Jets, had two brothers on the same team get sacks in the same game. Because hell, everybody was. They were assaulting him the whole game long. So field position was a problem because the Titans couldn't move the ball or they would turn it over. It really snowballed into giving the Jets a chance to score the points that they did. I mean, they tripled their output for the season in this one game.
And I know people were making fun of, oh, why is everyone worried about the punter being hurt? Why is everyone worried about Kern being hurt? But man, you notice when Kern's hurt.
You don't
You
have
really
him,
do.
you miss him. Yep.
Like field position battle was bad, and Johnny Townsend shanked one too.
This is one of the first times my formula didn't work, where as long as you give it to Derrick Henry over 25 times, you'll be fine. They actually lost and gave it to him over 30 times. So,
And
but I think
Well,
this is
he
one
was-
of the few times. This is one of the few times. Usually
It
they
was one of the
win.
big reasons why they were in the game at the end. So
Yeah,
they
I mean,
actually,
he got,
they
he
did the
got
right
like
thing by that.
160 yards. He got like 160 yards or some shit.
Yeah, I know. But on 33 carries, that's not crazy good, actually.
It was just. I thought it was more than 33.
Break 200 if you're going to get over 30 carries.
it was
That's
He was
what I
catching
bizarre.
passes too.
He
But-
was getting the ball a lot, but it also felt like he wasn't. Like watching the game in
Yes.
real time, it was
I
like
agree.
he would disappear, but yet he was statistically there. It was weird.
Yes.
Well,
It
he
was-
wasn't.
I
He
agree
wasn't
with
in.
Cyrus 100%. That was crazy. It was
He
weird.
wasn't in the final play with that 3rd and 4 before the right there the delay of game. He wasn't in the game.
Well, that's
Because
why.
McNichols is a much better receiving back. I mean, McNichols is maybe the best receiver in that game since Julio and AJ Brown were out.
It doesn't
I was
matter, dude. It doesn't matter. You have to have Derrick Henry. You have to have your playmaker in on a play like that. Have
Yeah.
both of them in for crying out loud.
There's an argument for it. I mean, I understand the scheme side of it, though, what they were trying to do. And I think McNichols is a good player. The real problem with the passing game is if you're going to pass the ball, given the setup that we have right now, if the Jets can expose you that badly, and then you had the first game against Arizona where it looked that bad, there's now 2 full games of tape on how to wash away our entire offensive line. And if you don't have a passing game in this league in this day and age, you're not going to make it. And this weekend showed that off. To not have an offensive line, it wouldn't matter if we had 5 receivers that were all pros on the field. If both those guys played, we wouldn't be able to get the ball to them. And it forces the defense to then dictate what the offense can and can't do. The Titans are not a team that can play against somebody who can dictate terms. They have to be the ones to dictate it, or they're going to lose.
And not having Julio Jones or AJ Brown showed it. It was very obvious that they did not have the sure hands in. Not
Well,
that
if
they're
the-
that sure this year, anyways. But they're,
If
I
AJ
hope
Rodgers
Brown
and Batson,
or Julio Jones plays this game, we're talking about how high-end talent bailed this team out from losing to the Jets. But instead, when you're missing high-end talent and you have no depth in the trenches on, frankly, either side of the ball. I mean, Harold Landry has the most pressures in the league, and it's not really showing up on the stat sheet.
Bud Dupree was out, I think.
yeah.
He's got a
Has he
knee
played a
issue.
snap this year? Has Bud Dupree?
Yeah. He played in the first game.
Oh. I feel like he should be playing more for such a big acquisition.
Well, that's
he
the
had-
problem with our acquisitions.
He had the big knee injury that ended his season last year, and I guess he's having some residual problems. I mean, you look at like Jadeveon Clowney and some other guys who've kind of had these nagging, recurring knee things, like they'll miss a game here and there. That's really hard, especially when you're depending on him to add that much more to the pass rush. I think their pass rush has gotten better over the last couple games to the
I
point
agree.
where it's serviceable. It's just, they're on the field too much now.
Well, that and the secondary and the corners are lining up like 15 yards behind the line of scrimmage.
Oh my
Janoris
God.
Jenkins. I refuse to call him Jackrabbit, by the way. I don't care if that's his real name anymore. His name is Janoris. He sucks.
Yeah, Jenkins.
Hey, I'll say this: I'm not a big Tannehill fan, but I think last weekend he played a really solid game. I mean, he threw 60% for 300 yards and 1 touchdown, which isn't exciting, but I mean,
He didn't lose
he
the
didn't have
game.
his 2 starred receivers like you guys were just saying. I mean, and to make what he had work, I thought he did a wonderful job.
I mean,
So,
looking at
yeah,
the
Cheers
stats,
to him.
looking at the stats right here, I mean, he got, like you said, 300 yards. Derrick Henry got, 157 rushing yards and a touchdown. I mean, it's clear that what happened was the defense, dude. If you didn't watch the
Yeah, I
game,
agree.
if you didn't watch the game and you just looked at the stats like I'm doing right now,
Yep. Foot and mouth.
it's the offense didn't do bad, but they made mistakes. They didn't get it done on third downs, and like I said, the delay of game was a killer. Even though y'all are sitting there saying it's not Tannehill's fault, it is.
But this isn't
I-
this isn't losing to 0-4. You know, they're 1-3, but honestly, they're a tough team.
They're 1-3
And you look
because they
back at
beat
their
us.
record, and they have not lost blowout games. I mean, this isn't like a Houston that you're playing here. You know, this is a team that's going to turn things around. I believe, honestly, I think in the Jets in 2 or 3 years could be, 750 point.
I completely agree.
Easily.
Yeah,
Winning.
I
What's
don't
that?
I don't
12, 13
disagree
games
with
out of
that.
17.
But
So, I mean, there's something to be said for that. It's not like they lost. Like I said, it's not like they lost to just a garbage trash can team that doesn't know what they're doing. They lost to a team that is putting up one hell of a fight for what they have because
Dude,
they've been dealt. Coach has been dealt what he's got, and he's a defensive coach, and it shows. They're playing a great defensive game.
I'm going to disagree with you simply because before this game, the 3 games combined, they had a little bit 20 points for all 3 games. They outscored themselves all season with 1 game.
Like I said, they're a defensively minded team. I think
I'll give you that, and
they've got Zach Wilson as
Yeah.
as a quarterback, and that
He played well, dude.
I don't think that was the head coach's decision. If it was, I'd be surprised. It was. Nonetheless, here he is with it, and I think that he's making do. I like the guy. I think that he's going to do well. So I'm pulling for him. Yes, not Zach Wilson, but the head coach of the Jets.
Oh yeah, Robert Saleh is going to be really good, I think. But I think Zach Wilson, what I saw on Sunday, there's some real glimpses that you could see of his future. He's got a really good arm. He's probably almost. I mean, no one's Aaron Rodgers level, but he's just a couple notches below that when he rolls out of the pocket as far as his accuracy and his arm strength. Watch a couple of these throws.
Crazy.
No, he's not there yet. He's in his first year, but watch this kid in a couple of years because when he rolls out, it doesn't matter if it's to his left or to his right. He can square up his shoulders and fire it, and it goes straight. It doesn't drift. He's not going back across his body. He can launch like 40, 50-yard balls, and, he's not having to contort himself. He can do it while he's running, and he's got a lot of zip on the ball. I mean, he can do some things that naturally a lot of guys outside like Mahomes and Rodgers can't do arm-wise. And that's pretty special. They can build around that. So a couple drafts from now.
About Mahomes. Hold on a second. I don't know about Mahomes because I've seen the throws that you're talking about. I've seen him in practice throwing these insane throws. But they're Mahomes-like. I mean, Mahomes is serious, man, with these no throws. No one's ever done that in the existence of football.
Yeah, he's in a league of his own.
There's no look, rather. Not no throw. But there's no look throw that he's doing. It has never been. That's crazy. And he's getting away with it. And I don't know that Zach Wilson could do that, but I've seen him do these very special throws you're talking about. And I understand the Aaron Rodgers-esque, but, man, it's hard to put them in the same category looking at where they're at now, I guess.
Oh, no. I was giving correct due. Like, he's a few notches below, but I can see where we were with Josh Allen a few years ago. And we were kind of looking at him like, man, he's a turnover machine. Like, he's throwing this stuff into double coverage, and he's killing the team. And then within like 2 or 3 years, he flipped it completely around. He's probably going to either win MVP this year or a Super Bowl or both. And, now you're looking at this big of a turnaround for a guy that was much further behind, I think, than where the kid with the Jets is now. So, I mean, it's one game, but I'm starting to see things. That's all I'm saying.
I hope you're right.
I'm not going to bet on them next week, but maybe next year.
I have pull for the Jets, man. They need some pulling for. They are due.
They are
every 50 years.
Are they more due than the Lions?
No,
Lions ain't getting it.
Lions are much more due than anyone.
Lions ain't getting it, dude.
No.
They're 0-4 now. Yep.
And hey, we lost a few undefeated teams last week, or at least one.
Yeah.
Denver, as I said, they ran into a real team, and boom.
You know, I was talking to Miles about this earlier. Their coach came out pretty much crying about how Baltimore continued to run plays even though the game was out of hand. As far as score-wise, there was no way of changing that out for Denver. So in order to keep the streak alive for Baltimore of going 100 yards per game at 43 games straight, they ran Lamar Jackson on like the final few plays. That really pissed off the coach from Denver. And he was like, man, dude just doesn't care about player safety. And then Harbaugh came out like, basically, shut your mouth is what he said. He's like, kiss his ass. He didn't care. But I don't know. I don't really give a shit.
I hate the Ravens, but I'm on Harbaugh's side on this one. You can't stop them. What? Shut up.
Yep.
Stop them then.
Exactly. Stop them. Just because you're giving up because the score's out of hand, that's no reason for them to give up.
No, I agree. And you know what I hate? I hate baseball for the simple fact. Well, I don't hate baseball, but the reasons why I don't like baseball as much is for the simple fact that they have books of these unwritten rules that are stupid. They are completely have no place. They ruin the game. There's no merit to it at all. Like, don't show up the pitcher, you get beamed with the ball. Same type of shit here. So he's mad because they're trying to keep a stat alive or stat record, and he didn't stop him, so he's crying about it. The 07 Patriots used to run the scores up on a lot of teams, and it was a thing at press conferences after the game where they're like, why are you running the scores up? And Belichick's like, fuck, man, it's the pros. Like, if you don't like it, stop it. That's your job. You get paid on defense to stop me from scoring. It's not my obligation to slow it down. And you see it pop up from time to time. There is no validity to the argument that someone else should not do something to your team. That is sour grapes, period.
I think it was Steve Spurrier.
It's bad sportsmanship.
Wasn't it Steve Spurrier who said, it's not my job to stop my offense?
Probably. Sounds like Spurrier.
Listen, that's sour grape stumped on by like fungus feet. Because I mean I agree 100%. That's just it's obscene. It's obscene.
You don't start playing. You stop playing when the game's over. The game's not over. Keep playing. Easy as that.
You play to win the game.
Yeah, exactly. And I tell you what, what about Arizona? I think, dude, I really like. I couldn't admit it last year. But I think I'm going to have to admit that Kyler Murray, right now, he's sitting at the top of some fucking poll or some ranking system of some sort where he's the number one quarterback in the league. So, I think Arizona, they had a convincing win over the Rams. Dude, their defense is also something that's not getting talked about enough. But I saw that defense firsthand in the Titans' first game, and they're for real, dude. I know that for definite. And Miles, you were bringing it up, dude. We were talking earlier. He does shit that he shouldn't, or maybe it was Mike, maybe it was both of y'all. He does things that just don't look correct at all. He doesn't look fundamentally sound, like he didn't learn the fundamentals of football, and it's working.
Yes.
And it's dominating right now. They don't know how to play for him.
Yes. And it's happening in other sports. In basketball, I don't know if anybody knows Trae Young in Atlanta.
Yep.
He reminds me of Trae Young. He's coming out of this like nowhere situation. Although he had a little, both of them had hype in college or whatever, but they weren't in these. Neither one of them went to Duke or North Carolina for basketball. It wasn't something like that. And they come out and they are fucking just doing the same things they did in college, and it's working because they're not. I don't know, and like I've said a million times, it's a very short-term minded league. So I don't know, if it's a coach decision to not give a shit, and coaches are actually starting to work around this as opposed to having it be a Michael Vick situation, where they don't really want him to, but here he is running all over the field. To now it's a Lamar Jackson field situation where, let's run him all over the field. Who cares what happens? But the kid's got an arm. Not only can he run around like a cartoon character on a damn video game, but he has an arm as well that it's very accurate.
I think he can throw across his body.
I think he's the real deal. And I think it's fun. I think that him being small like that is going to be to his advantage, just like it was a Drew Brees or a Russell Westbrook. So I'm excited to see what's going to happen to the guy. I mean, I think it's going to be a long future, actually. I don't think it's going to be the short thing. Like when you've got a Lamar Jackson, you've got to look at him. His frame's a little different. I think he could suffer an injury and be out. This guy, this little Kyler Murray guy, man, I feel like he's built differently. I feel like, unless it's something serious, this guy's going to bounce back and he's going to be around, like I just said, like a Russell Westbrook or a Drew Brees. He's going to be around for years.
He's like a short Dan Marino. I can't believe I'm saying this, but he throws the ball and it's perfect out of his hands every time.
Mm-hmm.
He can run around unlike Lamar Jackson, even though he doesn't really have to. It's more Aaron Rodgers running than Lamar running. Almost Fran Tarkenton-like. My only worry is what's going to happen when the weather gets cold and the team has to run the ball.
That's a good point.
That's a good question. Yeah, because they haven't been in the playoffs yet, right?
That's the thing. Marino never won that Super Bowl. A lot of these really great passing quarterbacks don't win Super Bowls until they have a run game.
Great point.
Well, they
But
may
they
not be
do have the
100% ready for
defense,
prime
though.
time.
They have a wonderful defense, but
That helps.
it'll only get you so far if you can't run the
'cause,
ball.
I mean,
The
look what happened to
defense-
Kansas City last year. That's why they didn't win. They didn't have a running game.
Yeah, it will
Because
kill you, especially
The
in December,
the
January.
Buccaneers figured out Patrick Mahomes. As soon as somebody figures out Kyler Murray,
No, see, I don't think that's going to happen relatively fast because is this his second or third year now?
third
This
year,
is third year, and
Yeah.
no one's figured him out yet. I mean, that would
because
have
no one's
happened.
taking him serious.
Oh, come
The
on!
thing
There's
with Kyler-
the media is not taking him serious, maybe, but coaches are taking the guy serious. You believe me? I mean, if I was playing against a guy, I'd be taking him very fucking seriously.
Yeah,
We've been using basketball comparisons. I mean, he reminds me of, in terms of unpreparable, it's kind of like Steph Curry. How do you prepare for someone who
Yes.
plays like Kyler Murray?
Yes, I agree with that.
It's weird.
comparison.
Like, he doesn't
Yeah.
play like a quarterback.
Kyler Murray and Lamar Jackson have a lot of similarities in the fact that
Yes.
they do a lot of things off script, and it's kind of like a new wave of quarterbacking. Like Lamar Jackson is obviously more rushing oriented. He's a 1,000-yard rusher probably every year now for the rest of his career because that's a big part of his game. And Kyler Murray can run the ball. But what I've noticed about Kyler Murray is that, like, when he gets up to the line, he does a lot of adjustments at the line before he snaps the ball. What looks like off script is kind of something that he's attempting to do on purpose. He's got 3 or 4 different reads. If the play breaks down, he kind of knows which way he's going to go, angles he's looking for. Like, he's kind of trying to find places to bail out, if things don't go that well. But he also is doing a better job than Lamar, I think, of reading a defense and actually playing the quarterback position. And that's what really throws me about him, is that he's able to kind of map this stuff out in his head because it's not accidental. Now, last 2 years, the stuff he was doing was purely off script. He wasn't mastering the offense, and he was kind of finding himself in these plays where sometimes he'd lose 15 yards, running around, running backwards, and they were catching him. Now he's got like stereo vision of everything going on around him, and it's like a whole different player. And like you were saying, Cyrus, I mean, he throws a great ball. I mean, he's really given them opportunities. He's leading his receivers. He's throwing guys up high out of bounds. His receiver gets it or nobody does. He's not putting up these rocket balls and stuff that goes into coverage and the Jameis Winston stuff. He's grown so much. And in that division, what the downside is that in that division, it's going to be really hard for him to every year be in the playoffs unless he's among the best in the league, because to get out of that division, you have to be like one of the top 3 quarterbacks in that conference.
and I think he at this point in time he is.
Right now,
Certainly.
At this point in time he is, but I mean he's in a division with the Rams, the Seahawks, and the 49ers. I think the
that makes
49ers would
3
probably
playoff
be
teams.
Yeah. You know what? There could be 3 play. I bet you that division has 3 playoff teams this year.
We could be actually in the middle of a season where all 4 teams, because you can have 7 in there now, all 4 teams from the
fuck, I
West
forgot about
Division in both conferences get in, because that's those 4 teams plus Raiders, Chargers, Chiefs, and Broncos. Broncos obviously would be like a 6 or 7, but that would be kind of fun to see, like 2 whole entire divisions on one side of the country go.
Would it?
Would be.
I
Yeah.
don't know.
Hey, I'm
We're gonna
ready for
have
the
that a few
NFC
times.
West. I'm they're good. It's fun.
I mean, I have no problem with it. I mean,
everybody
I
gets
really
their
think they
turn.
should just get away with the divisions altogether and just have it two sides like the like basketball does.
Well,
No.
basketball has
Uh,
divisions.
Why?
I don't know the math as to how that would affect the playoffs. Okay, I'm not smart enough to understand that, but I don't like where your root is coming from here. I put weed killer on it right now.
No, no, I like that. I mean, no, because I didn't like before now having teams getting in at 7 and 9.
Who
The more
cares?
things, the better. The more things, the
But
better.
you would still
Do you not
get that.
understand this? If baseball and basketball should be like football. They should have more divisions. These things make things better.
The divisional
No.
games towards the end of the year,
Yeah,
the
exactly.
best things the NFL's ever done about 10 years ago, they changed the scheduling format to where the last 3 weeks of the season are almost completely divisional games. The last
Yep.
week for sure I know is, but it could be the last 3 at this point. And what happens is you have all these teams that are bunched up close, and your tiebreakers are divisional record first, and then it goes to like offensive points and other stuff. But I mean, it's almost like they're adding a couple more weeks of playoff games because the teams that are on the bubble are playing other teams that are also on the bubble. They're must-win games for them, and I'm all for that. If you take away the divisions, the last 3 weeks of the season could be more meaningless, and you might have a bunch of these it basically becomes preseason for most of the league at that point. Just saying.
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, I get it, but I don't know.
Yep.
You're gonna
Put
get-
it on
14,
divisions.
I'm with
one
Mike.
whole
More
division in
division.
there. What's that?
More
Go ahead.
divisions.
You would
Break
get
it
7
down.
and 9 teams anyway, like getting in, because I mean, even if it was like, say you separated into like 7 seed versus like 7 aside NBA style. I mean, even the NBA still has divisions, but
Yes.
in the NBA, like the Eastern Conference is notorious every year for sending like a 5-win under 500 team as the 8th seed every year anyway. Like the Pistons a few years ago were absolute garbage, and they were an 8th seed, still made the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
They shouldn't have that many
They send
seats
half
open.
the league. They send half the league into the playoffs.
Could you imagine if the NFL did that? Good grief.
Well,
All
they
the
come
parity
pretty
in the
fucking
league.
close.
I think it's as close as that they're coming because that's what 14 teams and out of 32, and that you always get like one of these 8-8 type teams kind of getting in every year now. So yeah, if they open it up anymore, you're going to get a bunch of losers in there.
I think Adam's beef is they get to host a home game because it's they win their division. They get to host a home game, and then you get situations where the 7 and 9 Seahawks beat the defending champion Saints because Seattle's the loudest stadium in the world.
Got to win your division
Yeah.
games, man.
That's true, but I'm just
I mean,
it
that's
is
what
a
it boils down to. I mean, win what you're supposed to win, you'll get in where you need to get in.
Is it the loudest stadium in the world?
maybe not the world, but definitely
No.
in America.
No, I'm saying no. Even in America.
Well, outdoor, indoor. I think the loudest
even
is Sacramento.
outdoor.
Really? Has it been
Yes.
changed? It might be
no.
Arrowhead.
It might be NFL. That's all. Because you got places in college that seat twice the amount of Seattle seating
But their roofs are so big, the noise
that are
gets
loud.
out.
There's no roof in there.
Well, I know that's what I mean. Well, Seattle has that weird canopy thing that keeps
Yes.
noise in.
But you know that, Cyrus, that college football gathers twice as many in their stadiums.
I know, but-
Michigan Stadium's got 120-something thousand people in it. It's insane.
Stadiums like Neyland and the Big House, they have these no roofs.
I know, but that's got to be louder, man.
Arrowhead
Gotta
is
be
the
bigger
loudest stadium. It is Arrowhead.
That's in the NFL.
No,
I got-
Guinness. It's the Guinness in the world.
Oh my word! Because of the design of it, the architecture.
Yeah,
yes.
it's the way the acoustics are set up.
Well, that's cool.
No, I thought, it's been,
Speaking of roof,
I've
did you
heard
guys
that.
see the weather delay on the Monday Night Football game
yeah,
for a
that was
stadium
it.
with a roof on it?
No,
Right.
didn't
I was
stay up.
confused by that.
2021 strikes again.
And it was funny because, no one could be out on the field and they were out there commentating on the field.
Oh, Booger McFarland was pissed.
There was a weather
Booger
delay?
McFarland
What
was
is
pissed.
this?
I'm like,
Was there lightning?
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. There was lightning in the area. I mean, it looked, it was quite humorous. So, all right. So we talked about the Titans and everything. Are y'all worried about this week against the Jaguars?
Yes.
I am too. A lot of people don't see. They think that Tennessee's going to come out with a chip on their shoulder. Guess who else is going to come out with a chip on their shoulder? The fucking Jags.
The Jags
I
are
don't know what's
supposed to
gonna
be a
happen.
dysfunctional mess right now. At least
I don't
in
care. The
theory.
Jags find a way to beat the Titans. It seems like once a year.
It hasn't
They-
happened since
They have
Christmas
nothing to
Eve of
lose,
2016.
man.
Say
They
that
have
again?
nothing to lose. The Jags have nothing to lose, and they're going to play like that. And that could be the difference maker.
Yeah.
It's the way I feel. I mean, they really don't, and they're going to. And Trevor Lawrence has kind of progressed. I'm going to say,
I want heads.
I mean, I don't hate the guy, but I didn't expect him to win a single game, and here he is. Not won a single game, but he's come closer to winning games. I mean, he hasn't looked god awful. There's
No,
other,
he's looked pretty good at times.
yeah. So I mean, I think that it's kind of an odds thing here that the Titans. I mean, what are the Jags 0-4 now? So I mean, it's kind of a if not now win kind of situation for them. I mean, to come 3 points from Cincinnati last week, I mean, they're crawling their way up. I could see them getting a win here.
I hate to be overly like this. I mean, the sports people, the talking heads that do this type of stuff early in the season, I always cringe. I'm like, you're an idiot. But this is one of the most important games of the season for both teams. And the reason why is because Jacksonville, if they win this game and go to 1-4 in a really sorry ass division and put Tennessee at 2-3, which they would be, then they're one game behind the division leader and they're not out of it. And so that for that reason, it's really important. And also, if they lose, Urban could be gone right after the game, and then they have to deal with that. No team that loses its coach in the middle of the season ever does worth a damn, ever. Maybe one that I can think of, and I'd have to think for a minute. But the other side, the Titans, is just as important. You lose 2 in a row to 2 winless teams, what is that going to do in the locker room? You are going to have some problems. Then you're going to have the first real test of the Mike Vrabel era, of how he's going to be able to keep a team together. The last time he was under this much heat, if this were to happen, was when they were 2-4. They had just lost. I think they just beat Atlanta. It was the first Tannehill game when he came in and Mariota had gone out injured.
They beat the Chargers. Mariota was not injured. He was benched.
Right. Okay. So sorry, I got the wrong game. But it was right around that same time, and they were having the season slip away. Then they caught fire. But right before that, man, Vrabel had some really bad coaching decisions that were taking over all the headlines, and it would be equally as bad if you lose to Jacksonville. I mean, the season could spiral out of control. So they need this to stay pace in the division, get the divisional win, which are super important. You got to go 6-0 if you're going to have a prayer in some situations. And for Jacksonville, just as important. I mean, this could be a fun game to watch if it's really close.
It should be close. I mean, the Jacksonville and Tennessee games tend to be close. And I think Cyrus just said that Jacksonville hasn't beat the Titans since 2016. Are you fucking serious?
It was
There's
the
no
Christmas
way.
Eve massacre, the blowout, when the year before the Jags went to the AFC title game. It was the game that knocked the Titans out of the playoffs, and it was also the game that the Jags broke Mariota's leg and most likely basically ended his career. It was a very bad Christmas Eve.
That's the last time the Jags beat the Titans.
Correct.
I don't know about that.
And then we swept them the year y'all went to the AFC title game. We swept them the year after that. And hold on.
Yeah.
Oh, the Minshew game. How did I forget the Minshew game? Gardner Minshew, the Thursday night game.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. That was 2019.
How did it was a Thursday game.
But outside of that, man, you nailed it.
Well,
yeah.
We don't lose to the Jags often. And
I thought it was once a year. It seemed like it goes back and forth, but I guess the past few years we have, or past couple of years we haven't. Or just last year we
this
had.
Jags team, I want Downing at least fired. Someone needs to be fired.
I don't think you fire him. Who else are you going to put to run the offense? I mean, you can't have Vrabel do it. I think that they've built themselves in a huge mess. And we've talked about it a lot here about how, their star players, the guys, I mean, and you can include Julio in this now because he's older. They're kind of reaching, where the shelf life is going to be looked at a lot closer. Like, who's going to come back next year? Are you going to have Tannehill and Henry? Are you going to have Julio Jones? Are you going to have Taylor Lewan? I mean, there's a real big question mark out of all of them. I don't know if they're going to have him.
He's done.
I mean, are you? Yeah, are
He's
you
done
about to
after
start
this year.
sliding into a rebuild?
Yeah.
Because they can't just win games now, as a team. It's based off of, kind of bounces and field goals going through, and they're starting to lose a lot of their edge, man. So you have to really kind of throw things around and look at it for what it is, as far as like, how are they going to be able to dig out this year and then next year if they don't have a reputable coach to run the offense?
If they don't dig out this year, I mean, I hate that this might sound weird. Vrabel's gotten very lucky as a head coach. He had a very strong locker room coming in. It was a very, very strong room when he was hired, and the talent was already kind of there. Tannehill
He's
was
a
kind
player's
of lucky.
coach.
And once the locker room is lost with a player's coach, you lose to these two teams.
I don't have yours. I never used them. I just been using my one.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. Mute me
You're
for a
good.
second.
All right, hold on. There you go. You muted you.
But Vrabel, there's been a few times in the Vrabel area where I thought, oh, this is where it's going to collapse and this is going to lead to his firing. It feels like this could be it if they pull a bad streak here.
He's definitely gotten lucky a lot. His
I don't think he's a good head coach. I'm
I
going
don't
to be
either.
blunt.
I don't
Kind of
either.
sucks.
He's very smart in the way he runs a game, as far as time management and everything like that. I'll give him that. He is pretty smart when it comes to that. But
Is he?
yes, I think
Is
he is.
I said the same thing, but I was muted.
At first, like he had this cool thing where like when they lost the Chargers game in London a couple years ago, and they lost
Oh,
on
God.
going for it.
Oh
for
no, yeah, no,
the
that
2-point conversion.
no.
It's I kind of dug the idea of going.
It was
for
in
for
London.
two.
It doesn't count. Okay.
Fair
They're in
enough.
another
Happens in
country.
England.
Don't offend the Jags fan up there, but they win games in London. But
Yeah,
man, yeah, he's lost his.
that's their homecoming.
Vrabel was winning games with these gutsy, ballsy calls, and now he's not even doing that anymore. I mean, I think they should have went for two in the Jets game after that touchdown. I don't think you should have let it go to overtime against the Jets. Go for two with Derrick Henry while he's
Never
hot.
go for two. Never.
Nah,
Ever,
Always
ever,
go for two.
I really thought he was going to
Statistically-
myself. I remember he held up the finger. I'm like, oh, come on. Oh, come on. You gotta take advantage of this. You go to overtime. You don't know what's going to happen against a team like
It's a
this.
coin toss.
You know what?
It's not college.
It's
No.
the over teams. You go to overtime with an over team, and they've got all this steam built up. Man, they're dangerous. I wouldn't do that. I'd go for two. I would have gone
Listen,
for two.
the only
Vrabel a
time
couple
I'm
years ago
conservative is there. I'm not a conservative person, but if I was going to play call, that would be it. Let's flip a coin and let's see what happens in halftime and overtime, for sure.
You can't
sorry,
rely on a
carry
coin
on.
flip, man. We're gonna have to disagree on this,
Yes.
Miles.
50-50 is wonderful odds, honestly. It's very good.
And statistically, you would have a 75% chance of converting a 2-point conversion with Derrick Henry. Hell, you have a high chance of converting a 2-point conversion anyway in this league. It's very. And I imagine if teams started doing it more, those percentages would go down.
People
But-
have been doing it a lot more. I mean, at least in my opinion, I've seen a lot of people going on it for going for it on fourth down several times.
The
People run
analytics
out
say
with
to do
video
it.
games, man.
Shows no faith in the defense. That's a
Well,
shame.
I
mean,
have
a
no
lot of
faith
people-
in this defense.
I don't either.
Well, there you are. You're not the alone.
I mean, dude, well, Miles, I know you don't get to watch it because
The highlight.
you're all fancy with your
Oh,
red
yeah.
zone shit.
Hey, red zone's great.
$10
Man.
a month, man. $10 a month is what it costs me. It's beautiful.
When the Titans aren't playing, I'm red zoning too. I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Red zone. It's wonderful. No commercials, man.
So,
It's
is there
excellent.
any games
Can I,
this
can I
week?
promote it right now? Can they pay
Go
me
for it.
some
There
kind
you
of
go.
dollars for this?
There you go.
Where's
Can
our
Scott
Red
Hansen
zone,
come
y'all.
on the show?
Red zone.
Is there any games that are sticking out to y'all that's coming up?
I do not
Let's see.
know.
Dude, there's
I didn't know-
I think there's a good Thursday night matchup.
I didn't
Again.
know that was a question. Rams and Seahawks, that will be good.
Yes,
That will
Rams
be
and
good.
Seahawks.
That's
I'm
gonna
taking
be
the
a great
Rams.
game.
Ooh.
I
Seahawks
expect-
are starting to warm up, man.
I expect the Rams to bounce back after their loss to Arizona. They can't
True.
lose another. They can't afford to lose another one in their
That
division.
is true. That is
Road
true.
God, all
Thursday
those
games
division
are
games are going to
hard.
be big.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, all those division games.
I'm going to take Seattle based solely on the fact that it's a home Thursday game for Seattle. Those
Bills
games are
cheap.
notoriously. It is cheap,
Bills,
but
Chiefs.
statistically, that's
Yeah.
going to be really
I'm
good.
sorry for the
I'm
interruption,
Rams
but
on
that
this,
poked
man.
out at me. No, I'm with you, Cyrus. Carry on about that Rams Seahawks. They are notoriously to win.
It's
Seahawks
hard
are.
to win a. It's hard to win a road Thursday game if you're any team, but especially in
Yes.
Seattle. I'm going to take
Well,
Seattle.
See, Seattle.
So everybody's going with Seattle.
I'm going
You
with
are.
Rams.
I'm going Rams. So we're
All
tied.
right, 2-2.
Yep. I believe that the Rams. I
You
don't
have
know.
a good point. You have a good point.
You know that Matthew Stafford was off playing Arizona. The Arizona got to him, and it was obvious. And he was making some bad decisions. And he was playing like he was making decisions in Detroit. Unfortunately, it was very reminiscent of that.
So you got Cleveland Chargers too. I think the Chargers are going to smoke them. I think they're really up and coming.
Dude,
I agree.
Chargers, yeah. I absolutely agree with that. I
a
think.
game that has. Oh, continue.
No, go ahead, dude.
Go ahead.
I'd say there's a game that has really good upset and just viewing potential. Packers at Cincinnati. That's going to be a good one, I think. Burrow
I hope that has
versus
some fireworks.
Rodgers.
Yes. No defense on either side. Just pass game. Let's do it.
Right.
I'm all for it.
It will be like a Madden game.
That
I agree.
would be an absolute Madden game.
On top of that, though, man, I think the game of the week is Bills Chiefs. I mean, that's going to see where the rubber hits the road when it comes to down the line here.
Is it just me, or is no one talking about Buffalo?
They're not giving them with the proper respect. Sorry if I keep on interrupting anyone.
No.
No, you're good. I think it's kind of the downside to being a small market team. The upside is if things are going wrong, no one's really going to talk about you. And the downside is when things are going really well, you don't get enough, publicity. Titans have run into that a few times, but Buffalo is, this could really establish them as like one of the killer teams in the NFL. And they beat somebody last week. Was it Houston that they shut them out?
Oh, yeah. I had their defense.
Just donkey punched them. Oh, yeah, you did have their defense. Boy,
and I still
God.
lost. And I still lost. How does that happen? Because I suck somehow. Because my running backs just shit. They just go to shit.
It was a wild week, man.
You suck, Mike. F you.
What the fuck did I do?
You got really
I picked the
lucky,
Bengals
man.
defense and was trying to help you.
You got lucky on a week where I was just my running backs just shit the bed, and then Cooper Kupp decided to just shit the bed. So it was just a bad week for me. My defense was the only shining star.
Did y'all see? Did y'all get that screenshot that I sent y'all
Yeah.
About
from my
ESPN
other
league.
league?
oh yeah,
You
yeah.
guys
yeah.
like 1-2 points.
Oh my god, dude!
That's
Travis
so
Kelce
annoying, dude.
completely fucked off on me.
Fuck ESPN.
Yeah, no, I hate it. I so hate it.
Every time we bring up Adam's
it's
league,
touchdown
it just turns into
dependent.
a roast of ESPN.
It's
Yep.
touchdown dependent. That's it, man. Touchdown. That's all you got to
It
worry
is.
about in that league, and it's stupid.
Yeah,
So stupid. But listen here, I'm coming back. All right, I've tried to make some trades, and Cyrus, I'm going to point you out right now. What happened? You didn't.
Hey
You didn't
man,
like- You didn't like that?
Why would
That
you-
was a decent offer. You see me looking at you?
not only are
You
those
see
the
me?
two players you offered me very injury prone. I see you there, Porch Boy.
All right.
Not only are the two players that you offered me very injury prone,
So, for
McCaffrey's going to come
which
back.
player? For which player did I offer two injury-prone players? Let's go ahead and
Well,
put that
Kareem
out.
Hunt, let's start there.
Oh no! Which players did I offer for your player that are so
I'll
injury-prone?
announce the trade. That it's
Please
not,
do, please. Since you're bringing
Kareem
up
Hunt
injuries,
and
please do.
DK Metcalf for
Who are
Christian
not
McCaffrey.
injured. Who
No,
is
they're
injured?
both out right now. They literally have there's a red O next to both of their names.
Oh, they're not out. It's Wednesday. They're not out.
Dude,
It's
McCaffrey's my
Wednesday.
first round pick.
McCaffrey's out for weeks.
A couple
Yeah, he's
weeks.
out
He's
for a
actually going to try playing this week, and then he's probably going to
All
hurt
right,
himself permanently.
enough. We're carrying on too much. But you really shit the bed on this one. You really did.
You'll find
I'm gonna
another
regret
Niners
this
trade running
boy.
backs with it.
You're gonna regret this one, and you'll see because I gave you a good trade there.
It's okay. We'll
DK
both miss the
Metcalf.
playoffs this year, Miles.
No. You will because I beat
Be
you.
hard to do. I went all in on Dallas
did
defense
beat
for this
me.
week. They
Did
got
you
the
see who I
Giants.
picked up? Did you see who I picked up?
Mm-mm.
It doesn't matter. Whoever's playing Houston.
Right?
Well done. That strategy works, by the way.
It works.
It
very
didn't this
well.
last
I've done
week, but
for
it works a
years.
lot of times.
I've done it for years. No, it worked last week. I had Buffalo versus
I know.
Houston.
I had Cincinnati.
They shut them out.
That's
No.
great.
That's my theory. Waiver wires, you better watch out because that's who I'm coming for. Whoever's
So
playing Houston.
You've had 12 moves so far, Miles.
Mhm.
I've had 14.
That's half of what I'm gonna. That's nothing. By the end of
And-
the season, I'll have close to 100, if not more.
Yeah, and that's the only way that you're going to get better. If you don't have just a knockout draft, you got to keep moving, man, because
Yep.
every year there's 3 or 4 guys that pop up out of the woodwork I call it the Miles Austin effect. I remember I had a draft back when Miles Austin jumped out in the middle of the season, and I happened to grab him after his first big game. Second big game was like him versus Kansas City. He went for like 250 yards or something stupid. And that's the whole reason I made it to the playoffs that year. Because if I didn't get him, I had all these injuries and stuff. Wouldn't have made it. Nobody cares. But you gotta find those diamonds in the rough. And the defense thing, man, that'll save your ass.
Yes.
Every
it
every
will.
week.
Yes. I
Matter
agree.
of fact,
And you can almost change it weekly. Like some people will get ahead of you, but for the most part, you can almost match up dependent your defense weekly. Almost.
Yeah,
like
except
it's
for
a
bad
daily
bye weeks, I
fantasy.
usually carry 2 defenses, and then just kind of make decisions based on the weeks.
See, all right, so who's Houston playing this week? Because New England.
And you know what Bill Belichick does to rookie quarterbacks, don't you?
Especially bad ones.
With big necks.
See, all right, so in that league this week, I mean, I'm constantly making changes in mine. So I'm starting right now. I've got David Carr, which
We've all seen yours.
Yeah, but I need fucking. So I picked up Randall Cobb. He had a good game, and that Cincinnati running back since Mixon's out.
Oh, that's probably a good move.
Yeah.
Who's that?
I don't know. It's just it's the number 1 running back. I don't fucking know. I don't care. I just need somebody who's a number 1 running back.
All I can think of is Joe Bernard, but I know he's not with Cincinnati anymore.
Yeah, he's injured.
Who's the number
he's in
2?
Tampa Bay. Perrine or something like.
Oh, Najee Perrine.
There you go.
I
Okay.
gotcha. Yeah. Okay.
His name's Samaji Perrine.
Oh, Samjean or whatever.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't
He's
pronounce
a good
words.
Oh, and it's Perrine, I think, not Perrine.
Okay.
I think it's Perrine.
Well,
Because
we
I
just
remember
put his
there
name
being
into a meat grinder and started twisting.
Exactly. He's not a rookie though, is he?
I don't know if
No,
he's
he's
a rookie,
around
but
here.
Mixon's out though. Mixon's injured.
Right.
So
Yeah,
You
but
know.
they have no running game at Cincinnati. All they can do is just hope for
Well,
Burrow to launch the ball.
it's better than Sermon for San Francisco or Tyson Williams because he hasn't done shit since like the second week.
These are all terrible names.
Yeah, exactly. I know.
Well, there's a couple teams that you just cannot get a running back for that team.
Yep.
You can't. I mean, they run by committee too much. San Francisco is one of them. So
Right.
I had Sermon in 1 week or another, and I dropped him after the first week. I'm like, yeah, this is a typical Shanahan bullshit. Both Kyle Shanahan and his dad did the same shit. All the Washington teams, all the Atlanta teams. I mean, you can never draft or have any of those backs for any length of time because you didn't know who's going to play that week. Screw you every time.
Yeah.
Listen, there is one duo in football right now that it doesn't matter which one you have. It's pretty much paying dividends. And that
Chubb
is
and Hunt.
Chubb and Hunt.
Oh yeah,
Chubb and
Hunt.
Hunt.
Yep.
And I have Hunt on my bench, and I tried to trade him, and somebody doesn't want him.
I don't.
Full circle. I like it.
And I tried to give him freaking the badass receiver I have on the bench too, and he doesn't want him.
Metcalf.
I
Jamar-
have some.
Oh no, DK's on my starting rat. That's right. I give Thorin a trade. Does anybody know how to get in touch with Thorin?
Yeah, I do.
Tell him there's a trade on the books there for him.
I'll let him know. That's he's got COVID right now.
I hate that.
Yep. So
Well,
he
but-
should be able to get the message.
Don't bother him then with the COVID.
No, he's fine. I'm not bothering him with the COVID. He's already got it. So, I mean, I'm not bothering
Well,
him.
you know what I mean.
He'll be fine. He's getting better. That was like last week.
Okay, good. I'm glad to hear it.
Yep. So, yeah, I'll let him know. And is there anything else y'all want to hit on?
Yes, my comment. I think we should all address real quickly
What
in
is
the
that?
private chat.
Oh, is Tampa going to challenge Buffalo in the Super Bowl?
Is Tampa going to challenge Buffalo in the Super Bowl? Because here we are in Week 5, just about to start, and that's my
I don't think
prediction.
Tampa's going to make it.
It's my prediction. But I know Buffalo is. But who's going to challenge Tampa?
You know Buffalo is.
Yes, I know
Without a doubt,
Buffalo
they're
is.
the ones coming out of the AFC.
Yes.
The AFC is too. I still think it's probably going to. I know it seems unrealistic for a third year in a row. Kansas City's going to get it together at some point. And
No.
if they have the one seed,
They don't
No, they
have the
won't.
defense. They don't have the defense for it.
They
Yeah,
don't
Buffalo
have the
their
does.
running
defense
game.
is killing them more this year than most years.
And they still
Buffalo's
don't have
got
a
it.
running game. They still don't have a running game. I really
Neither
turnovers
does
are an
Buffalo.
issue.
Neither does Buffalo, to be honest. If we're being honest.
No, they do. It's Josh Allen.
Well, so then you could
Well-
argue that Patrick Mahomes is the running game for the Chiefs if you wanted to.
The
But-
difference for those two teams is, I mean, they both have issues there, but the turnovers, because Kansas City's turned it over a lot this year. Mahomes, too.
Speaking of running backs, I would like to introduce my new running back special. This is something I'm doing each week now. I would like to say shout out to my new running back core featuring Sam Darnold and Cordarrelle Patterson.
Patterson, dude. I
These
tried
are
to
my
get
two
him in
running
that other
backs for the
league, and I
week.
lost him on the waiver.
I tried to get him on waivers in our league. I don't know who got him.
I got it. I
Do
did.
you see that? Where do I go? Where do I go with this?
Oh, man. I put in that waiver claim during the game the other day. I was like,
He's
trying
gonna
to get
keep
on the
going.
Cordell train.
he hasn't
gonna
looked that
keep
good
going,
since
Mike.
Knoxville.
He's going to keep going. You're lucky. You're lucky.
I
This
mean,
is the-
I
this is
start
the
him this
best.
week.
This will be the best waiver wire pick of the year right here. I'm counting
He's
it
playing the
right
Jets this week. I might start him as well.
I
He's
think
going to have
you're
to be a
right,
bye
Miles.
week insert.
I think you're right because I was kind of hoping that dude Robinson who had Robinson and dropped him.
now. I did. I think in the first few bits.
Yeah, I picked him
Possibly.
up.
I don't know. I've already dropped so many. It's like a
Yeah.
revolving door here.
Yeah, I picked up Robinson because I was like, wow, I can definitely use, especially since Mixon's out. So that works for me because yeah.
Chuba's going to do a big game this weekend. You guys
Well, he
watch
sure the
out.
fuck didn't do a big game this past week.
He's going to this weekend. Chuba.
I've got him starting in that. No,
All
as a
right.
matter of fact, I think I got him sitting now because I don't trust his ass.
Back to the
I still
question
got
at
him
hand.
in there. Got him in there.
Cyrus, who's going
Start
to challenge Buffalo in the Super Bowl?
Out of the NFC, I would say that's tough. I mean, I don't want to say Tampa Bay because honestly, I don't think it's going to be Tampa Bay. But the NFC is too wide open of all the contenders there for me to really say.
Yep.
Arizona
That's why
looks
it's going
like
to
the
come down
best
to
team,
experience.
but the Rams have the best defense. But I think so. If I had to make a pick off the top of my head, I'm going to go with the Los Angeles Rams.
That's what I was going to say.
Okay. And that's with you, Mike? You're riding that train?
I am all on it for the Rams because it's kind of Stafford, probably the best of what's left of his prime. Aaron Donald, kind of the same thing. Great coach. They got Jalen Ramsey. They got a lot of pieces that won't be there in a couple of years, and they've kind of seized on it. It really is just going to depend on the division. They've got to get out of that division with Seattle and Arizona and potentially San Francisco if things go well. I guess they're going to start. What's his name? Is it Lance?
Yeah, Trey Lance.
Yeah, they're going to start him this weekend. So they're 2-2. Who knows where they're going to go? But if they get out of the division, if they get a home playoff game, or if they get a couple of home playoff games, I think the Rams could be in the Super Bowl. Tampa Bay barely made it last year, and their roster is they could get hit with the injury bug. Some of the guys that are on there.
Truth. There's some truth there for sure. David,
Yeah,
I've taken control of the show.
thank you.
I'm just kidding. It's my
Um,
question, so I get to direct. It's my question, so I get to direct the traffic here.
All right. I mean, I agree with Buffalo. I agree with Buffalo.
Okay, so we're pretty much all of us think that Buffalo is going to be there.
Yeah,
Okay.
I really don't think that Kansas City is. I don't see that
Except for
happening.
Cyrus says Kansas City.
Yeah.
Well, I could see Kansas City making a jump. It could either be or Baltimore or
No, fuck Baltimore. They don't do it.
I hate Baltimore, but dude,
No. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. It's just I don't think they can't handle. Their defense can't handle a high caliber quarterback.
Buffalo's the complete package.
Yeah,
and playoff football.
Baltimore doesn't have to worry about playing anybody like that yet. So
making playoff predictions this far out is hard to do because the playoffs are dumb.
No, I don't give a fuck about the playoffs.
Listen,
we're talking about Super Bowl here.
Well, I know.
I make
to
mock
get to the
drafts
Super
in
Bowl,
July.
you got to win in the playoffs.
Well, obviously, but
Okay. Mock drafts in July over here.
Fair enough.
It's healthy.
all right. So
What's his name? I can't remember now, but he's got a buddy that they always do it on ESPN. The guy with the slicked
Mel
back.
Kiper.
Mel Kiper. And who's his buddy?
Junior.
He's got a new one now that they brought
I don't
on for when
know.
he dies. Seriously.
Mel Kiper's been
one.
put in a long time. He has a point.
That
We're
does
ready
it with
meeting.
him.
Mel, you're gonna die soon, so we're gonna have to get somebody to take over for
Hey.
whenever you run out of hair gel.
Can you
Passing the
train
torch,
him to take your
man. I
spot?
can't think of the guy's name, but at first
Tom
I thought
McShay?
there was.
Is that what you're talking about?
Yes, Todd McShay. At first
I
I
didn't
thought
know he
there
was
was.
still with him.
Oh yeah, I thought there was animosity there at first, but I think it's just kind of a rookie and veteran kind of situation.
Mel Kiper's an old head, but he definitely doesn't have the best read on things. There's a lot of guys that know a lot more about the draft than him now. He's just kind of like the original version. He's like the AOL of the internet, you know.
Yes. Have you
Gonna
ever
have to
watched
give him
that
his-
Jim Kramer guy on CNBC? Have you ever seen him?
Yeah.
He's kind of like Mel Kiper. They're the same. They've just been in it so long. Like what they say doesn't matter. It's just they're
What-
there
what do
for
you say?
their
It didn't even-
personality.
Didn't even use words. He was
ESPN's had so many layoffs. I'm shocked Mel Kiper's still there, to be honest.
No shit. I would rather see Dan Levitard than Mel Kiper.
They
Crying
dug
out
up
loud.
Chris Berman again for this
Yeah.
season. I'm like, did he leave like 3 times? Like
Boomer's the
Last time was-
greatest, man.
he is.
He's definitely shown his
Berman,
age,
man.
though.
Come
Oh,
on.
man.
He's been playing. He's been on since I've been watching football and longer. I mean, for
I was
Christ's
born
sake.
in 80. He started in 81.
Yes.
I mean, that's a
Yes.
long time.
The fastest 3 minutes of football. Come on, that's a great segment.
I grew up
love it.
in a place,
You
I
know who
guess
I
everyone
miss is
here
the guy
did.
that used to be
But-
on his counterpart, Tom.
Tom Jackson.
Yes, Tom Jackson. They were.
Do you
the
know why
best
Tom Jackson
together.
quit?
Why?
Tom Jackson quit because Boomer was going to do this one last hurrah season, which he did. And he didn't want to be part of it. He didn't want to be part of the show that basically was just going to pompously kiss Boomer's ass
Right.
for 12 months or, during the season or whatever. So he opted out. I didn't think he's doing anything anymore. But now they got Booger McFarland, which is he's kind of like Tom Jackson, but in a really unlikable way.
Yes, I liked Tom Jackson, but he stood his principles. It sounded like so good for him. I hope he's
Yeah.
doing well. I liked Tom
me too.
Jackson a lot. I don't like Booger McFarland at all.
No.
I've
James
not
Booger.
met anybody that
ESPN's
does
work on
like Booger
reviving the
McFarland.
death.
And I don't
I
like.
wish
Go ahead.
if ESPN
Sorry.
had some necromancy technology, that'd be great. Because honestly, the whole network hasn't been fun since Scott or Saunders have been dead.
Exactly. Yes.
It's ESPN's not the ESPN I grew up loving. It's certainly not the ESPN. It's bad now.
I made a
Yeah.
picture of Booger McFarland's hand. Can you see it? So this is Booger McFarland. I think I don't know which one this is. This might be the index finger. I don't know, but yeah, just wanted to fuck you, Booger.
Yeah, I don't think anybody really cares for him. So are we done with Dallas? I mean, do they not have a hope of getting to the Super Bowl?
No.
Playoffs, yes. Super Bowl, that's a stretch.
Yes, I agree.
Something's gonna happen to them in the divisional round or the wild card game. It always remember that insane. Was it Devontae Adams who had that catch when they played Dallas in the playoffs a few years ago?
Yes.
Where it was like, ever since they had their run in the '90s, Dallas has been very snake bit in the playoffs. Maybe Jerry Jones, is finally selling his soul in the late '80s.
He's
There's
finally
something.
having to pay
Yeah,
up.
they're gonna fall apart in January. Yeah, that's what
The
the Cowboys
separation
do.
the separation between the really good teams in the NFC and like the fourth and fifth best team is pretty big.
Yeah.
And I think once they get into the playoffs, they're going to run into a buzzsaw.
So I think we can all safely agree that the three top teams in the NFC are not in this order: are Seattle, the Rams, and the Cardinals.
I
Could
would
put the Packers
Seattle.
in there too, but it's close.
I would put Tampa Bay over Seattle.
Really?
Yep.
I disagree.
Okay.
I
Fine.
disagree. I mean, just from the like you said, Tom Brady was off this past week.
Yep.
Going up against a
did
rookie
say that.
quarterback, and I don't see Tampa Bay being able to handle somebody like Russell Wilson versus Mac Jones. I mean, who has Tampa Bay really played this year?
They've played and they've lost.
Alex.
They've played and they've lost. But
Right.
the only thing that's going to stop them is injuries. Listen, I'm no fan. I'm not excited about it, okay?
No.
I don't
I'm
make
just-
the rules. Okay? This is just the way it is.
I mean, I don't see it though. I mean, of course, honestly, I didn't see it last year at this time either.
Exactly.
So
Me neither. And I'm trying to.
Tampa
I don't reconcile that.
Bay
I guess, in
lost to
some
the
kind of way.
Rams,
Yeah.
and they barely beat that Dallas team. I mean, that Dallas
They-
team did have the entire preseason to prepare for them.
Bless Dallas's heart because I don't, Dak Prescott, man, I think a lot of him now. I really do. I didn't like the guy. I wasn't a fan, but now I've turned into a fan, and it sucks because I don't think he's gonna be a Phillip Rivers, I think, kind of situation, and I hate it because I think he's really overcome a lot and done very well for himself, and deserves everything coming to him. But I think if he stays in Dallas, that's it.
Jalen Smith, they released him today. Did you guys see that?
no.
Yes.
So they're starting middle linebacker for the last few seasons, got a big contract, and then they drafted a middle linebacker, I forget his name, first round this year. They've now switched to him, so now it's like him and Van Der Esch kind of running the middle of the defense, which, I mean, they've been okay. They haven't been fantastic. I think if Dallas can really fix the defense and really have like a playoff caliber defense that could go deep in the playoffs, I wouldn't bank on them for Super Bowl. Tampa Bay has the Super Bowl caliber defense. And, the injuries thing, I'm just worried about, you get later in the season, if you have something happen to Devin White or, anybody on that defensive line at all, I mean, it throws a chink in your armor because they are going to depend on that defense to win them a couple of games. That's exactly what happened last year in the playoffs and leading into the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl, the game against the Chiefs, it was very similar to the Broncos game against the Seahawks, a few years before, in that you had a high power offense come in, everybody's kind of picking them, and the defense shuts them completely down. If they don't have that to go back to, Tampa's not really going to go to the Super Bowl. It's going to have to return to form pretty soon because they're going to face some big teams.
Yes, I agree with that. That's why I don't put Tampa Bay in the top three teams of the NFC. No, but I would say, all right, I'm taking Seattle out. I'm changing my mind on that. I'm going with the Rams, the Cardinals, and the Packers. There's my NFC teams.
It's crazy
Nice.
that nobody can figure out the Devontae Adams Rodgers combo because
Bullshit.
that's all there is. That's all there is.
No, there's not,
And
dude.
nobody can
Devontae
figure it
Adams
out.
did not have a big game last week. No, Randall
But
Cobb
he's-
had a big game last week.
A couple
What?
weeks ago, though,
Yeah, no.
That's
I
true.
agree
set
with
up the
that.
game winner.
That's true.
But I
I
mean,
don't
no.
know. He seems like the only threat, but yeah, you're right.
No, last week, dude, they had it figured out. I'm trying to pull that up real quick before we get out of here.
I'm just pissed because Aaron Rodgers hasn't really done shit in fantasy this year. It's like, I'm ready to bench him, but it's hard. It's
No,
hard.
Because
Hard
as
to
soon
bench
as you
Aaron
do,
Rodgers. It's so hard.
as soon as
But
you
if
do,
I
you're
would've
going to miss
done-
a huge game.
If I would have done it for Burrow this week, I would have been okay. I would have been all right. Anyhow,
Quarterbacks
enough
are
of
real
fantasy.
tricky there. I usually can get the middle of the pack guys and do okay. I got Stafford. Stafford in this league is my best choice by far. The other
PPR.
leagues I've got Oh, I got Justin Herbert. Herbert's actually done okay too. Statistically, he's not like blowing the doors off, but he's doing a little bit better than average. He's consistent.
He got me to the playoffs last year in this league. Herbert
God, you
did.
should have heard them talking about him the other night. But he could be a Hall of Famer. Who was?
Oh
he
yeah,
was
no,
talking
they've
to
been
Scott
sucking his
Mantel.
dick, dude. They are sucking his dick
Hall
hard.
of Famer. It's
Yeah,
been in the league
dude.
a year and a
Yeah,
half.
dude. They're doing the doing the reach around and everything. I don't know what the hell's going on with that. I mean, it's full caress and everything. So
Bro,
Mine
he's been in the
steps over.
league like a year and a half.
yeah, pretty much.
Hey, he looks 12.
Yeah.
If we're going off year and a half performances, VY is a Hall of Famer. Good grief.
Oh,
Whoa, we're not going.
Carson
that route.
Wentz would be a Hall of Famer if we're going off year and a half.
Oh,
Well, that's what I mean. It's
This now seems silly.
ridiculous. It's ridiculous to judge a QB based off a year and a half of production.
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. I do not
I mean-
disagree with you. That's why he has to show something. I mean, he's having a great year right so far. He had a good year last year, especially when the doctor punctured Tyrod Taylor's lung to get him to start.
Good grief.
accidentally.
Yes, I know Mike is a very huge believer in the conspiracy of that one. That was all planned, wasn't it?
It worked out okay.
Yeah, it worked out good
What
for
did
Herbert.
Tyrod Taylor do to deserve
Yeah,
this
he's in Houston.
fortune he's gotten?
He gets his lung punctured every week now. He's in
oh
Houston.
my word!
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Oh, Stephen Gilmore's been traded to Carolina Panthers for a 6th-round
Yeah.
pick.
Oh,
In
really?
6th-round pick in
Defense is
2023. Not even next year's draft. That is the
Wow.
equivalent of a sack of socks.
it's true.
Wow.
Former
Wow.
DPOY for nothing. Carolina might make it, man.
Yeah, Carolina might do something. That was the team that you wanted to talk about, Miles, was Carolina. I mean, they
Yeah,
lost this
man.
past weekend. But
I mean, are they for real here with Carolina?
if they have McCaffrey, they are. If they
But,
have
I
McCaffrey,
mean,
they are.
It seems like if they have Darnold, they are.
It's a combination. They have to have both of them.
Do you think? I
I
mean,
do.
he's really come alive. I mean, I don't know what to think about this kid. Is this? I mean, 5 rushing touchdowns in the past few games here. I mean, is this coach figured out how to use the guy? I mean, it's
He's
pretty
having
impressive.
That
It's pretty
coach is
impressive.
having a good year. That coach is definitely having a good year down there.
And then
They're
the
3-1.
defense.
Definitely
dude.
using him better
So,
than Gase did.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Oh,
I hope that. I wish them well. Oh, yeah.
Well, guys, we're going to wrap it up.
For Christ's sake, it's been forever here.
Yeah. You keep fucking talking. No.
words.
Rock and roll.
Man.
We'll see y'all next time. And I'm ending the broadcast. Thanks for tuning in. This is 4 Dudes in the Football.
Hopefully, I'll have better seating